Welcome to Shotgun Story, the podcast that has conversations with indie creators about music, meaning, and the point of it all, so that you may be inspired by the journeys of other artists who are doing it for themselves, and maybe gain a little more understanding as to why it matters quite so much that you keep creating. Vicky Jankiewicz has spent the last 15 years behind the scenes in the music industry and is one half of the dance floor damaging damsel DJ duo #Soslol. And she's here with me.
Hi! Thanks for having me, Tori.
Oh, thanks for chatting.
Lekker.
Let's first start at the very beginning.
Okay.
How did you find your way into the music industry?
Well, I grew up in front of Bell Park, and let me tell you, I just always knew that's not where I'm going to be one day, you know. And then I got the opportunity to study at Stellenbosch. Actually went to Tikkies first because I knew they had a cool radio station, right? Tix FM. Mm. So I was like, I'm going to work at Tix FM one day. And then I went to Sally's, and I was like, wow, this is so beautiful. And my best friend's dad, he said, but Vicky, they have a radio station here too. And I was like, no way. And it was MFM. And I was like, yeah, I'm stoked. And then my mom was like, no, but you have to go to like Booker or somewhere close by. And I was like, nope, see ya. So then I went to Stellenbosch and I immediately applied when they were taking in presenters. And I trained in my first 2 months, and then I was on air. At 3 a.m., 4 a.m. in the mornings for about 6 months, and then I moved up. I was a full-time DJ, probably my second year at MFM, until my last. I was there for 5 years, and during that time I also had other jobs because I was working my way through varsity. Yeah, one of my jobs was like working at Aunt Class, and I used to look after the bands because of my radio thing. So they made me look after the bands. So I got to know all the bands, and I'm very good at networking. And then I started writing reviews for Cape Town Music Scene, which was an online blog with Jaco Brill, and that was a lot of fun. And then I had to move. I got an opportunity to work at Jacaranda FM at an internship, and at Vow FM, which is Voice of Wits. And I took it with both hands, and I was like, I'm moving. I'm so sorry, Cape Town Music Scene. And then Jaco was like, bro, we're SA Music Scene. And I was just very lucky because I knew a lot of people at MCAR back in the day. So I went to their events, and because I knew some of the bands and the Cape Townian bands that came to play. Yeah, I was just probably lucky. And then, yeah, me and my bestie, how far should I take this now? Where do I stop? Tell me. Well, I mean, I'm talking the whole time.
No, and that's the point. They're definitely not interested in me talking. I'm definitely not interested in me talking. Oppie though. You played yes. a little role there.
No, for sure. Alma Smith, who was at MFM, asked me what would be your dream job, because I was like, I don't know if radio would be my dream job to be on air, like maybe behind the scenes, and then she was like, okay, but what would be your dream job? And I was like, I want to work for Oppie one day. And I was still young. I haven't been to an Oppie. My first Oppie was only in 2011 while I was still studying. My final year, I came on a bus. And and somebody peed on me.
Like, oh no! So in the bus or at the festival?
At Oppie, we just got there. We set up our tents in the dark, and I was standing in the queue in Mordor, and like my ex from large school, from primary school, he came up to me and was like, hey, how are you doing? And I'm like, great. And this girl, very drunk, like already, night one, you know, she comes up to me. She's like, is this the queue for the bathroom? And I was like, yes, because I was right at the end. And she pulled down her pants and just started peeing while I was talking to my ex, and me and him were laughing, and I'm like, well, welcome to Oppie. But anyway, so yeah, the first 2 years I went as media to Oppie, because then obviously I moved, and then in 2012 I was also at Oppie, and then Nickel van den Berg, he approached me because I did like some bar work for him in 2012, and then in 2013 he was like, would you want to do merch at Oppie? And that's how I met Natasha from Inner City Inc. Yeah, I worked merch, and then the year after that, I was media again, because I was like, merch is a lot of work. Media has way more fun, you know. Then the year after that, Natasha was like, you have to take over the whole merch tent. I can't be there. Like, I trust you. I'm like, who are you even? And then I was running it. And then for a few years, I was doing the merch at Opikopi. And then I moved on, and I was doing the social media with a fantastic team. And yeah, a lot of creative work came from that. And yeah, I still have the logins.
That's wonderful, actually. Yeah. Merch, you're still doing it?
Not as much as I want to. I have clients that I help, and I help some bands out. But I used to do it like heavily in, let's say, 2017 and 2018. When I went full-time freelance, I was totally working in merch. But now, yeah, that's just something I do on the side.
And now your current musical project, #Sozlol. How did that happen?
Okay, so me and Catherine were going to festivals and stuff, and we were at Millipop, and we were dancing at like the top bar, not in the rave cave. And there was like DJs that we know playing, and they were cool, but like every third song was like, why did they stop like the dancey vibe, you know? And then we were like, no, man, we should totally start DJing together. Because I was already by then, obviously she is a real DJ, and I was already just playing at Good Luck Bar, like after the bands, and people stayed on, and then Gareth and Nicole were like, well, we need somebody to play music. Vicky, you play music. And I was like, yeah, sure. So then me and Catherine were like, we could totally DJ together, and we could be cool, and we can dress up, and we can play weddings and flip bar mitzvahs, anything, you know. And that's what we're doing now. Like, we used to play Opikopi. We've played for Frans van Cooke and Vrienden in front of 10,000 people,
wow,
which is really crazy. We've played wild corporate events that are like a weekend away with their best mates, you know, and then we play every night. We did so many weird, cool things. Yeah, it's very fun.
So Catherine Grenfell, that's your other half.
Yes, for sure. Not in that way, but yeah, we're tight friends. She's amazing. She's I grew up listening to her on 5FM, and I was like always like, oh my gosh, this woman is so cool, you know, a radio DJ, and she does all the cool stuff, you know, goes on to Kilimanjaro, what the hell? And then when I met her years ago, I was a bit starstruck. And then she's just such a easy, approachable person. And I mean, anybody that's ever worked with her or met her or whatever knows this. And yeah, I don't know how we became friends. But, you know, now we used to drink a lot together, and now we don't. we share like life advice and like, you know, what are you doing for your health and stuff like that. So we're quite boring old tannies now. But I think we'll DJ together until we're really old tannies, you know.
I really hope so.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so you started, I think, answering maybe the next question, which is 3 to 5 highlights of your music career so far.
Sure. I think when Opikopi asked us to play at the top bar the one year, it was the year I broke my leg 6 weeks before Opikopi. And all I could think of was, obviously, I was working at Opikopi in another capacity, but also we had lined up a friend to follow our Opikopi experience for the whole weekend, Keith. So he was following us with cameras, and we were doing interviews with people, and we were doing fun stuff that you can do at Opikopi. And I was working, and we would play every night. We would close Top Bar, which was from like, I think the band stopped like at 1 or 2 until 6 a.m. No, at 12. They stopped at 12, and then we played until 6 a.m. for 3 nights in a row. I mean, that was an amazing experience, because I was always the person dancing till 6 a.m. with all the Opikopi staff, basically, back in the day when it was DJ Bob and his friends. Mm-hmm. So it was so cool to be that person in the end, you know, like to be the person playing the music. And then that is a highlight. Then obviously Frans van Cooke and Vrienden. It was the year before COVID. That was very cool. Like, it was in Pretoria. We're doing it again this year. It's happening. And then Frans van Kyk and Vriende, we're playing again this year at the Sun Arena on the 18th of August. It's always on Catherine's birthday, and that's always fun. I mean, it's so weird DJing. Like, it's only a half hour on the main stage, and then we do the after party, but it's 10,000 people in front of you, and you can't even see faces. You know what I mean? You're just like, what? And then because you're DJs, you just stand there, but it's such a massive stage. So last time I took Catherine's hand and I was like, let's go run to the other side, you know? So we're probably going to do that again this year. And another one, I don't know, like that. I think that Millipop, where we got booked to play for the first time. Oh, okay, well, yeah, that's almost where we started thinking we wanted to be DJs or whatever. That year it rained out, so we couldn't actually play a set. But our first official show as #JereJesus, because that was our DJ name back then, was at the Good Luck Bar. And Gareth invited us, and there were a few other cool DJs like Nick Hammond and stuff. And there were so many people, and we were on stage for like 2 seconds. And the whole stage fell because I was dancing too much and it wasn't stable. Like, so our equipment and everything fell. Then this girl, she was acting like she broke her foot because the stuff fell on her. And it wasn't true, whatever. And her friends were like, turn the music down. And Gareth came and he was like, you do not turn the music down. We've got this sorted. The ambulance is coming. Don't listen to this guy. And I was like, okay. And then we ended our set. Then it was Nick Hammond. And then Gareth came back to us and he was like, listen, people are asking for you guys to play again. So will you play after Nick Hammond? And we were like, sure. And I think we DJed till like 3 a.m. And that's... Our wild nights were like that, you know, like we always say, you know, if we get booked or whatever, we're always people that we've played at weddings until 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. We play until the party's done, you know. If you booked us and you wanted a good time and that was your vibe, that is our vibe too, you know.
So you're based here in Joburg.
Yeah.
And obviously, I'm sure you're prepared to travel.
Yeah, sure. We've been to Cape Town many times. We're going again now for Silver Skermfeest. That was also a highlight. Last year was our first time. I always said, I want to DJ at Silver Skermfeest. And now we're going back again this year, which is always a fun party. And yeah, I don't know, like we've been to weird weddings in Mpumalanga or in Limpopo. We haven't been further than that, you know.
And now... let's talk Joburg for a moment.
Yeah.
I know we discussed it beforehand that you guys don't make music yourselves.
No.
You play other people's music.
Yes.
So I think you're au fait with the music scene here in Joburg. What's it like? What does it look like at the moment?
Quiet. No, I'm joking. Well, I mean...
I don't think you're joking. That is my experience as well. It is very quiet.
There's like weird places that people can play at on a Sunday afternoon. Then, okay, there's like Irish has a venue, which is quite nice. The sound is horrible there sometimes, though. I know that. But I still go and support, you know, like I have actually missed this weekend. There are a few places like the Malkerij that do things. Then... obviously, Sonage has like amazing sound, amazing features, but it must be for a big show because you can't do a little acoustic show there.
Yeah.
And also, I've been so angry at artists. There was like this group of Pretoria people 2 years ago, and or last year maybe, they did like this tour, and one of their stops was Joburg, and it was quite a good lineup, but they didn't promote it at all, and like 5 people were there, you know, and I was like, for that massive venue, like obviously they were even like angry at themselves, and I was just like, wow, you know, you're doing a cool thing, like you guys are awesome. Why did this happen? You know, I feel it's an issue for music venues because obviously Good Luck Bar was such a great spot. I mean, Hell's Kitchen also closed down, and they used to also have monthly music events or Sundays and stuff. And I don't feel Pretoria is any better, hey? Like, Arcade Empire is gone. Fokoff Bar doesn't have many live music evenings anymore. they do a lot of stuff of Loftus, Ashveld. I mean, I really wish we could get a better venue. But anyway, Park Acoustics is still running.
Yeah.
Not every month, though, I think. They also like a little bit less. And then there's like events like Capital Craft. You must now you must be part of an event or something to get out there. And music isn't always the number one priority. Like it will be a beer festival or a gin festival. And then there's like background music. You know, like at the Tutu convention this year, it was in Joburg for the first time. And they also booked like 2 bands a day. It wasn't like people didn't come for the music, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a weird thing.
And what's the fix for it? Do you have suggestions or thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the other problem we have in the scene is we're booking the same people at every show because they are the ones still making music. But I feel like where are the new peeps, you know? Like I feel like there's no opportunity for them, so they don't want to do shows because who's going to go? You know, I think there's so many issues that we have in that regard. Where are the big festivals? Are they ever going to come back? You know, I would love if somebody phoned me and told me, we need to make a post about Opikopi this year, you know, or something like that.
That would be amazing.
I know, it would be great. And I mean, but obviously there are festivals doing great things, like Millipop is still going strong. Misty Waters does their thing. Yo.
And a couple of new festivals. And I mean, Galpalooza is the next one on the scene.
Yes, it's over Women's Day. So our friend Jolene East, she's the best. Yeah, she does her own thing. Hey, she's like a solo artist and the honeymooners with her husband. And they're having that amazing event as well with an all-girl lineup. And other things like tarot card readings and massages, and everybody's welcome. And the nice thing about Tuifontein Malkerij is you can book to sleep over. And if you have the urge in you to camp, you can, because there's a whole space for that too. So it's a nice sleepover event from the 8th to the 9th. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, you know. And I'm very excited to see, because then there's artists on that lineup that I haven't seen in a very long time, you know.
Yep.
And that's awesome because they don't get booked.
And to be honest, artists I have never seen play live as well.
Yeah, you're right.
It's exciting. It's new and it's fresh. And I'm hoping that it'll continue annually.
Yes. Well, it is over her birthday and also over their anniversary.
And also over the time that Opikopi used to be every year.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I think it's a hard one to crack because that is the perfect weekend. This year it's right in the middle of the week, but it's still like a lot of events happen over that time.
So that's the thing. There's also competition for events,
and
audiences have to make decisions about who they're going to see and what they're going to see, and because of the immigration and semigration rates in Johannesburg, I think that's part of our challenge. We've lost a lot of our audiences.
Yeah, I feel like also promoters do everything over the payday weekends, like this weekend alone that just was passed, you know, like so many weekends that are payday weekends are so full, like there's 5-6 events that you want to attend, and then you can't. Or you've already made plans, or you just decide, it's really like a cold front, guys. I'm not going anywhere, you know?
Or you don't have the money to, even though it's payday weekend.
Yeah,
how many things can you support in a weekend?
Exactly. So it's a lot of pressure around that as well. I feel like promoters should be, there was a good synergy back in the day where promoters would give each other chance, you know? They would be like, we're doing this event with this artist over this weekend. They can do another event the weekend after maybe, but we're not in competition, or we're not trying to go for the same crowds over the same weekends, you know? Or
completely.
It just makes it a bit easier.
Yeah. Okay, so we're talking about challenges. As a woman in a very male-dominated industry, have you noticed any gender bias?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm always, because I know a lot of promoters and stuff, whenever I see they have no females on the lineup, I always message them and I tell them, sis, man, no, Where's the girls? Don't say there aren't people that are women that are not playing, like that are not irrelevant or not relevant at the moment or whatever. And then I always tell them, we're two girls who can also MC. Like, I try to sell us for this. But unfortunately, it's a bit like I've stopped doing that, because I'm also like, we can't be the only, people can't just get the two DJs to play music in between sets or music right at the end, and then they're like, oh, don't worry, we've got two girls on the lineup, because that's not fair. But I mean, even there's a big festival happening, a one-day festival happening in Cape Town and Pretoria in the coming months, and I'm very excited for them to be back and everything, but there's not one woman on a lineup there either. I think maybe in Cape Town there's one lead singer of a band, but that's it. Like, and I'm always like, wow, I know, I hear you that you're saying there's not enough, especially if it's like for a niche thing, like if it's alternative or whatever, but I do feel you can make a plan. There's so many artists out there. Or you can go look for peeps, or you can, like, especially if you're bringing internationals, I feel like you're doing so much moeite for the internationals, going all out for the internationals, probably taking them on a safari or something, But what about supporting this local scene, And it's not fair to just have like guys on a lineup anymore. And now we have to make like weird Women's Day shows where actually the women would have liked to just done nothing on the couch, but now we have to perform,
What do you think is the way to build an audience? Best way?
I don't know anymore. It's so hard. It used to be easy. It used to be like, go ask Henk and go ask Gareth to be on a lineup for Park Acoustics and for Opikopi. And, 20,000 people will come, and they might be a bit drunk, but they might see you there on the stage in the morning or in the afternoon and be like, hey, who's that? You know? It used to be like that. It used to be a way more of a word of mouth thing. I think now, if you make your own music, it's very important to be on Spotify. I mean, Spotify is also doing amazing things. Like, they've got a fantastic team. Like, I've met some of the people that work on it, and I know some of the people that work on Spotify. And I just feel like it was one of the things that we needed in South Africa to finally be here. And now that they're also curating events and stuff and making Spotify a more tangible thing than just an app on your phone, that also helps a lot. And I think you have to I know they support artists as well. I've worked on a launch with Van Pletsen where they were supported by Spotify. So I think there is like a whole thing where Spotify is trying to do more because they know people are listening to online. They know people are, following algorithms. They know all about those things. And because there's not enough events and stuff, I mean, you can hoy your bio and your music set and everything into an email and contact everybody and spam them and be like, hey, please let me play at your show. But I mean, that's competing with 10,000 other people doing the same thing,
Totally.
know? And that's why I think that promoters are just going and asking their friends, not that I'm obviously also included in that. Like, I've played many things just because I'm a friend, I've played many 100 Rand shows or just bar tab shows. Not really. Catherine would kill me, but not really. Like, I never play for 100 Rand, but I've played a bar tab show because I'm a friend, and I'm like, oh, that would be cool. Or, yes, please, I would like to be in the scene, Or we just want to get our name out there. We'll play for 2 beers and a water, But I think it's different when you make your own music. It gets way more complicated, especially if it's like one of your main sources of income, we do this for fun. It's not our number one priority. We love doing it and we have a lot of fun, and I think we'll continue doing it until it's not fun anymore. But some people live, on music, on creating their lyrics and music and playing, and, live shows is like a different high for them, you know, if they see people there. Like for me, it's amazing to see people and dance and have fun. But I mean, I know they're not really listening to my personal lyrics or music, you know, so that's a whole different ball game. But yeah, I don't know what's the solution. Don't ask me hard questions.
I suppose if there was a solution, an easy solution, we would have done it by now.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, people are also only doing what they can because obviously they also want to get feet through the door. So they book good artists or popular artists, you know.
Yeah.
They don't want to gamble. So they're like, oh, I am aware of this artist, but, you know, I'd rather get somebody that has this many people following them on TikTok or listening to them on Spotify monthly or whatever, because I know that will sell a ticket or two. Because that's also a big challenge, you know, and you can't put up a festival or whatever and you have this great overhead because you also booked like the big bands of South Africa, and then you have to turn down the smaller guys, your opening acts or whatever you want to call them, you know, and you have to be like stingy with that. But I feel that's so unfair, you know. And I also feel like Millipop realized that 2 years ago. They stopped getting like big names and they started getting a lot more DJs and a lot more people that you didn't really know, just because they were like, it helps so that the festival can stay small and doesn't have to grow beyond this many people, which is also one of the niche things. People like to come to Millipop because it's not overcrowded. It's a lovely place to camp. You don't have to listen to music. You can do other things too. But, you know, there was like this whole thing about, are we going to grow bigger or are we going to keep it a bit smaller, but then also not pay so much for the big acts? Because to be honest, a big act, like, will they really bring in as much feet, you know? Especially if they do other stuff on their sides, you know, like, I mean, I was working on Blood Brothers, for instance, and we could never get 10,000 people at Blood Brothers, but we had all the cool artists on that lineup, you know, all the front men or all the musicians, everybody that made out that band. Every year it was different, and we could never get 10,000 people at a show, but Frans van Cooke can do that with his jommies, you know what I mean? And then you have to think about it and be like, where are we going wrong?
Completely. I suppose for me, that's one of the reasons that this podcast exists, is to have these conversations so we can begin the dialogue. There's got to be some kind of solution. But anyway, we're not going to figure it out in this brief podcast.
No, we could speak about this forever.
We could. But what I would like to ask you is for a piece of advice for young indie creators or your 15-year-old self.
Wow. I would have told my 15-year-old self never to stop playing. Like, I was playing piano and I really loved it when I was younger. But then I had other hobbies and I told my mom, I can't possibly do piano and this. And not that I would have made millions with my piano skills. I'm not saying that either. And I tried a guitar because everybody wanted to be a Karen Zoid back in the day, right?
100%.
I tried a guitar and I was like, ew, this is never going to happen for me. My mom wanted me to be a singer. I'll tell my 15-year-old, I'm so happy you didn't pursue a career in just music. Well done. I mean, you didn't become a doctor or a lawyer, so what the hell, but thank goodness for that. But I do believe, and I see this, I work in corporate as well in a day job, and the other day I was at a women's event, weirdly enough. I mean, it is that time of the year. And one of, like, somebody that I really love in the corporate world, she speaks at a lot of things. Her name is Taki. She said, we should stop focusing on people sitting in front of desks and people who had the opportunity to study and start looking at people who are arty and who are doing things with their hands, making music, being artists, you know, painting, doing like different, like we need to focus more on the people in the arts. And I was like, I'm going to live tweet this because that's my job. But I really hope that people see it and that they start applying it too, because I really think that that's one of the things that got us all through COVID. And not even all of us made it, you know. But I mean, that helped a lot of people. And it's something we take for granted. And it's always the first thing that gets cut out of the budget. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I can't buy this ticket because I'm already going to this thing, you know? So I'm rather not going to buy entrance to this thing because, whatever, you know? Stuff like that. You do that. You always say no to supporting art of various ways. And that's just how the world is, you know? Like entertainment and all that stuff falls away when you need bread and butter. And I feel like that's also a big thing. I have another job. Well, I used to, and it's a fast food chain. And in the past few years, I see how they have decreased in numbers. People aren't doing that anymore because, you know, and I mean, that's fast food. You would think, wow, it's easily accessible. People are staying home more, all those things. But people are cutting down in a big way.
Yeah.
And so somehow, I don't know what's the solve for it, but yeah. I would say, keep on keeping on, girl. But don't make music for living. That's a stupid idea.
I love it. Local musical hero, dead or alive?
Local. Oh, okay. Well, I've got many because I've also worked with a lot of people that I really like. I mean, when I was young, I loved Karen Zoid, obviously, and then I got the opportunity to work with her a few years ago on her show, Republiek van Zuid-Afrika, and also doing her merch for a few years. So I was stoked to be that person and whatever. But local music superhero of mine, which I really love, Mango Groove, Claire Johnson.
Yes.
I have the biggest woman crush on her ever. And she's also the nicest flippin' person. And I mean, she remembers me from, like, we did a live show with her for CakeNet a few years ago. And that's when I met her. And I was like, it's too much, you know. And I never get starstruck like that. But with her, I was. And she still, when she sees me, she still greets me. She follows me on Instagram. She likes my posts, you know. I feel so flippin' special because all I wanted to be was a flippin' Mango Groove Claire Johnson when I was younger. That was my dream. I just wanted to be blonde like her, you know, when I was small. And another one is definitely Henry Engelbrecht. He was a friend of mine. It was a weird thing because when he started taking photos, I remember I still cucked him out and I dissed him and I told him, hey, who are you? What are you doing at Park Acoustics? Just because you've got a camera, you can't just start here. And you're standing in front of my photographer who was Christelle for SA Music Scene back then. I was like, no, man, you can't do this. Also, wear black. Like, why are you wearing this piece hemp? What's going on? Anyway, and then, you know, I was like a bit like eye roll irritated. And then he started talking to me and we became such good friends. And later on, you know, we would be each other as well. Later on, I wouldn't be in the music scene as much, but he would then still exchange his +1 invite to me or stuff like that. We used to work together as a team at Opikopi. Like, there were so many things that we did together. And also on a personal level, he was a fantastic friend. But what he did and how he made artists feel, and I mean, there's a lot of photographers out there that do amazing things like Christelle. But what Henry did was he was capable to make people feel like even bigger rock stars than they were. And later on in his career, although he wasn't doing this for a full-time job either, but later on in his career, big bands and people who had funds appreciated this and did pay him, you know. But that didn't take away that he would still go to any festival or any event and do it for free for people too, you know. Like, I mean, one of his last big shows was like for Bongoziwe Mabandla, and he saw BCUC, you know, and I mean, even the small DJs, like even Sos Lol has a few amazing pictures that Henry took, you know, so, and you have those memories forever, like, even when you're old one day, you can look back at it and be like, so that's my two heroes, man.
So my favorite photos of myself were taken by Henry.
Yeah, you see, I'm very spite that I never asked him to take like professional pictures of me, because that would have been cool.
That would have been cool. So as we run to the end of the episode, 2 last questions. 1, a social media link for #SozLol, only one, that people can find out where you're playing, what you're doing.
We don't have that. So
no.
it's very ironic, but Yeah, I'll give you my email address. No, I'm joking. I will never do that. But no, what happened was I work in social media, right? So you would think. But I was like, no, we'll promote this from our individual pages. You know, we've got accumulatively, I mean, Catherine is obviously a bigger superstar, so she's got a lot of many likes and followers and stuff. So, but I was like, no, let's just promote it from our own pages whenever we play or whatever. And let's not we have the hashtag, and the hashtag can lead people to us, you know. So we don't have a Facebook page, and I don't think we'll ever have one.
So a social media link to your personal page then, Instagram or Facebook, which is better for you?
Yeah, I'm just Vicky_JKWICZ, and obviously Kath is Kath Grenfell. And that's us. You can find us anywhere. If you really want us to come and joel at your party, at your bar mitzvah, at your child's bar mitzvah. Oh my God, we're getting so old.
And what song, by what band, are we going to play this episode out with?
So I asked the independent band because I've been friends with these guys, and it's probably one of the bands that I've watched the most in my life, including the Black Cat Bones. So between Hellcats and the Black Cat Bones, I've seen them the most live, and I miss watching Hellcats live. So I asked them if I can have one of their tunes. So yeah, that's what we're playing out of, because Hellcats are awesome.
Yay, thank you for chatting. This has been so fun.
Thanks. This has been a trip down memory lane and stuff. It was awesome. Thank you for having me.
And oh my gosh, thank you for the most delicious lunch.
Yay!
Vicky made me lunch.
I
feel
cooked
so
you.
lucky. She does. She's a win.
Cheers.
If you are an independent artist whose passion for what you do can inspire or fuel others, get in touch. I'd love to chat. You can find me on shotguntory.com.
You've been listening to another production from Solid Gold Podcasts.